Hello, everyone. My name is Ingravesco, and I'm an analyst currently. I'm here to talk about how NA did at Worlds, what's the problems, what's really going on, because not a single team got out of groups, and that's a pretty big problem. So, follow the NA, sponsored by Dank Memes and Beta Draft. So, NA fails to get out of groups, but they do really well in the first week. Not really TSM, but CLG and C9 at the end of the first week are both first place and have a pretty set out path to at least get out of groups. CLG beats Flash Wolves in Pain and only loses to Ku with a strange Blitzcrank pick, while C9 wins all three games. Even though people criticize Balls as a top laner, Balls does garner a pentakill and so much is happening. So if these teams are doing so well for our first week, they really should be set out to at least get out of groups, at least one team. But not a single team gets out of groups. So why? So North America is a pretty one-dimensional region. You've seen the same comps all the time, even though 69 champions are played. So what's going on? Only two different ADCs are played by both C9 and CLG, while except in the CLG pain game, while most of the picks are the same in all the other areas too. So let's go over what goes on. Gravity didn't do too well in the beginning of the split, and they seem to look better. Pick ban has a huge impact on the game, and one reason is because they could pull out these cheesy picks that could defeat the one-dimensional mindset that all these teams had. You would pick this mid laner, either Victor or Azir. You would pick certain ADCs, certain top, certain jungle, and it would really just be a tier list. And then you'd pick the tier list, see what the strengths are, or try to get first towers, stuff like that. Then you have Cloud9 come in, reverse sweep two series, and then also win the last one. So they have some different picks that actually countered the meta in a way, like even pulling out a Kha'Zix, which went pretty well. And then against TSM, CLG threw a bunch of curveballs in. First game with a Yasuo pick, and because of the way NA is, they'll focus on a single pick or a single comp and then keep trying to play it, and that's how TSM lost. So let's go over the first game, C9 versus AHQ. Cloud9 has a hard push ADC in Sneaky, which is as Tristana. They have an early game jungler with some CCs, so you have Lee Sin for early game pressure. Wave clear safe mid, which is what you have in Veigar, and he even has some CC, which is really good, and a peel support. So the peel support is Morgana, really good for Sneaky, can't get CC'd. Add some peel, add some initiate as well if she gets a pick. And then you have top lane with zone control. This is really important. All these things are in almost every single comp run by NA. On the other side, you have a Darius that has zone control, you have Rengar that has one-shot potential or pick potential, and they have a Fizz to go along with it. And then you have a Kalista and Braum. Now, this comp doesn't really make any sense other than to make picks or team fight, but their team fight's pretty poor because they can't actually get to the back line successfully due to the amount of zoning that Balls has with his barrels that High has with his kick to use it for peel or initiate. And then you have Tristana that can ult people away with elimination having a black shield or Veigar wall to block either Sneaky or Veigar. Now this is really good. As you can see, you have like the game's going in AHQ's favor. They're going, got a kill. But what happens here? Right here, they get first tower, first dragon. And sure, they get a tower back, but two towers are returned really quickly. Why? Because they have insane pushing power. Once Tristana can touch a tower, it's pretty much down. And being that HQ has zero wave clear at all drafted, seriously, there's no way to stop this push. And then you have Veigar being able to set so many picks, Balls get some kills, High gets 7 assists. Like there's two deaths on this entire team because they can't touch them. And that's just the NA comp that starts from here. Now, CLG versus Flash Wolves. What's the comp? It's the same thing. Early game jungler, has some CC, has some peel, and also some pick potential. Now you have a top laner with zoning pressure. You can't walk into the Darius. If you walk into the Darius, you'll get pulled and you'll get killed. You have Pull Belter on Lulu, a early, not an early, but a safe mid laner, good wave clear, can stop pushes, and can even boost the ADC. That's really, really good. And then you have Jinx, the best pushing ADC in the game right now. Tristana can't really rival that so well. And then you have Alistar for Aphromu, standard peel. There's no way to stop him. Like from headbutting you away or something. Then you have Stake, Karza, Maple, Kramer, Sword Art, and Flash Wolves. Actually, really good players. The Gnar is really the only pick other than the Tristana that I like because I just don't see so much. Like, I never really liked Echo, but to get into it, Flash Wolves doesn't have so much wave clear. They have the Q, they have like ranged abilities that are okay in wave clear, but not so great. But the fact is, because they can wave clear, they can stop the pushes of CLG and can answer with some turrets of their own, which they get through Tristana. You have a tower, the first tower obviously taken by CLG, even though first blood is taken by the other team. They get first dragon, and Tristana starts getting 3 turrets. CLG answer back with 2, and the game goes on relatively even. Kramer gets a little bit big, but you can see that Double Lift has like 80 more farm, really good, because they funnel a lot of farm onto them, which is very important. And then the Baron happens that it gives like 5,000 gold to Flash Wolves. It's really, really great for them, and they can actually close out the game. But wait, there are problems here. They have Peel and they have Initiate, and that's how Xmithy actually manages to land the Cocoon on Kramer. Kramer's out of the picture, they have nothing to stop CLG, and the snowball ends. As you can see, it completely crashes down. Dragon, tower, inhibitor, like Nexus. Like, you don't even see all the things that happen here, but it's just insane. 9 towers to 6, so the game's fairly close. They're still down in gold, but because the way this comp goes, and because you have this Jinx drafted, you can actually win fights even though they're ahead in gold. Jinx is one of the strongest ADCs, if not the strongest right now. CLG versus Pain Gaming. What's this? It's the same comp. Some zone control with Olaf, but it's not so strong. Xmithy on Lee Sin, same thing as with C9. Lulu, safe wave clear mid laner. Double Lift is on Tristana, no way to stop him. Braum here, good peel. They have good wave clear, but Kami gets set so far behind that CLG just roll over them. And that's pretty poor to happen, but there's no way really to answer this. Like, it's just the same comp over and over. Now we have C9 versus IG. IG people thought would actually beat Cloud9. IG gets some good picks. Echo starts getting pretty powerful. But it doesn't matter because the way the comp is drafted, you can't really do anything. How does Rookie get to Tristana? It doesn't happen. You have an Azir wall, you have Braum, you have the zone pressure. There's no way that they can get to them. But this is the closest game other than with Flash Wolves. Kid gets caught out, he does not play very well, and that's pretty poor. But look at this. Blue side has 3 towers. They have no push pressure. None at all. Sure, they can get kills. Look, this is what, 4 kills, 2 kills, 4 kills again, or something like that. All this is going on. Tower, tower, I think 2 towers, tower, Baron, Dragon. Like, all this is being pushed on them, and they can't answer back. There's no way to get to Sneaky. There, he has 1 death. Zir has 3. Everyone else has 4. Kid has 6 deaths. There's no way that you can stop that. You can't stop them from getting to Kid. You can't stop them from getting to Rookie. You can't get them from stopping from Gnar unless you use a Gragas ultimate. And these are the same comps coming out. Now you have TSM. They draft similar things, but here, even though you have a lead, and you did get 2 towers before Origin does, the comp's really strong because you have good wave clear on 2 champions. You have a way to get to the enemy carries. You can get to Wild Turtle, you can get to Bjergsen, you can speed up Anivia for slows, you can speed up Kalista for slows. Like, that's really, really strong. That's why Kalista has such a strong record this game. 6-1-2. That's the strength of this comp. The Anivia for wave clear along with Lulu, and then you have the Kalista to stop them. It could have been TSM's game if TSM played it properly, but being just like pick and ban, this is what loses the game. Ku versus CLG. What happens here? Oh, why are they winning? What's going on? First of all, there's a Blitzcrank pick, which is pretty poor. Where's the peel support? There is none, so you can't peel for the double lift, which has 4 deaths that game. Pulbutter has 7. They can get to the carries. Why? They have a cannon, really strong in getting to the back line. You have a Ashe, really good for just initiate, which they can't stop. The only thing that can stop this is the cleanse here. That's it. And the crucial part is you have this mid lane wave clear. CLG almost get to a lead, almost get to push down mid lane turret, but they don't have a tower. They don't have any way to get to it properly and continuously put pressure because they have early wave clear in Victor. They have initiate with cannon, which scales pretty hard around the mid game point, which is here. And you can see like they could just consistently roll over them. Even though they get towers, even towers, and they get the second tower before, they're getting more because they can wave clear, because they can stop pushes. Now with Cloud9 versus Fnatic, what's being drafted? The same comps. And even though there's a huge dip, we can see why. You can see there's a huge dip by mid game. Fnatic gets a huge amount of kills, some towers, and they get a massive amount of gold. But again, there are problems. Orianna and Yasuo are really good in the mid game. They can get to the back line. That's where their strengths are in the comp, and you're not really tanky enough to stop everything. But if anyone rewatches the last fight, you have the perfect team fight. You have zone control from Darius, which garners the pentakill. You have peel from him. Like, there is no way that the Yasuo that ulted to them, that was on them, along with All-Star, can stay there because there's just no pressure on the ADCs. Reckless is almost kicked out of the fight instantly. Fedvivin's also as well. There was no damage being placed on these 3. On these 2 specifically. Look at their low deaths. Look at the high deaths here. Pretty similar comp, and they tried something new of trying to get to the back line, and they were the most successful so far, other than the Ku Tigers, which, even though CLG drafted a bit differently. Now let's get into CLG versus Ku Game 2. Similar comp from CLG, but the early game jungler is not really there. Jinx is on the other side, which is a stronger AD carry, and there's very little zone control with Fiora. Throw that in with the Tom Kench pick and Darius. Because Darius is able to neuter Fiora's ability to zone control, and Darius gets a huge lead with a massive amount of focus by Ku onto Darius. Ku can start snowballing the game. CLG really can't do anything except with Pole Belter, which gets the most gold out of his entire team, but it's just a giant downfall with a way to get the back line. Who has the most deaths? It's not Xmithy, it's Scion Spartan and Double Lift, along with Aphromu. Once you kill any zone control, you can get to these carries, and that's where the focus of these teams are. They know that. In North America, this is what they're doing. In the first week, it's all they're doing. And that's how they counter it. With the stronger ADC and with good initiate, and they're destroying like the zone control that they have. Now, in this game, it's Flash Wolves versus CLG. Game 2. What's drafted? The same things, but there's a little bit of difference with the Zion Spartan on the Echo. But even though Echo gets a pretty good lead in the early game, why are they losing? Sure, you have Lee Sin for Peel, you have Victor for Wave Clear, and you have the Tristana, which does a lot of damage to turrets and a lot of damage to players, as well as you have this Peel support. What's going on? Well, first of all, Echo does not provide so much zone control. He can zone, but not perfectly. But what's drafted here? Jinx, stronger ADC, Morgana, great pick potential that they can't stop, which is really important. If Aphromu went with Morgana, maybe it would have been a different game, but it wasn't drafted onto the team. And then you have the crucial pick on stake as Malphite. Malphite's goal, get to the back line. You destroy the enemy carries that way. And he racks up a 5-1 and 12. That's 17 out of 22 kills. That's really important. He has the most kill participation on his team other than these two. And Flash Wolves play around Danelle, their strongest player by far, and the strongest pick on their team. They're able to get to the back line, able to get to the carries, and guess who has the most deaths? Double Lift. It's not about just being the player, it's about how teams place their focus against other teams. And that's really important. And you can see how these drafts are being countered. CLG gets a lead. Turret, Dragon, 2 turrets. Like, they're up in gold. They're down a little bit. How are they down? Because Flash Wolves can actually play around it. And even though they go up, they go back down. Massive deaths here, massive deaths here, massive deaths here. Baron here, like, this is all crucial. And this is how an A is getting countered. It's one-dimensional play. Now you have Fnatic versus C9. What's drafted? C9 has a similar comp to what they had. Early wave clear, boost to ADC. Why does Sneaky have the most, like, one of the most deaths? Like, why are they all dying so much? Wave clear. Good initiate on Kennen. Good initiate on Shen. And also shields to stop if they try to get to them. Hunia Gnar, that's really important. Gnar is such a good pick. Like, even though it was picked in earlier comps and didn't work because, let's say, the mid laner didn't have so much wave clear or the ADC was inadequate. Here you have an early game jungler, just like in that game, you have early wave clear, good initiate, and they can't stop the snowball. Sure, High gets kills, but that doesn't even matter. Look at this chart. You got 4 towers, 0 dragons, 0 barons, and the game was closed out 10-0. That's what happens. People are countering this comp, and that's what happens to these. Look, again, same counter, but with even worse problems, because not only can they wave clear, Twisted Fate becomes fairly binary in wave clear damage. Jinx is stronger than Tristana. You have early game jungler again that is able to have an impact. You have a roaming mid laner. Twisted Fate counters this comp very well. If they're trying to siege a turret, you can stop them by flanking them. You can get to their carries. Ziv is able to get to all the carries as well. 12 assists, that's the most in the game, tied with Jinx. Very important, very crucial. Game snowballs in AHQ's favor this way, and yet C9 and CLG are picking the same comps. C9 versus IG. What's going on? Same comps. Early game jungler, mid wave clear, top zoning. Gnar is drafted again. Really good. Can get to the Tristana, can get to the Veigar. Early game jungler, this is not only targeted at high again, but it's again against the entire comp. You can stop their pushes, you can flank them, and you can kill them. How is red team garnering kills so early on? Because they can't stop them. And that's really it. Time also plays really well with kitties on Kennen, which is again a really good way to stop C9. IG could have lost this game, but did not. They won a lot of fights, and that's how the game went. They were able to protect dragons, and they got to 5. They got 2 barons, and they only had 2 towers more than C9. Because maybe they didn't have so much wave clear in the Lissandra, but the Lissandra is still crucial because it also counters its comp as well. Cloud9 overall may be a better team than IG, but their drafts are not cutting it. They can get suppressed and nearly blown up in instants. That's what happens. And that is why C9 and CLG and the rest of NA, including TSM, don't get out of groups because they play the same comps over and over again. It's about being one-dimensional, and then you can get outplayed. That's the problem that we have in the entire split, and until we get to either best of series or just a better coaching system with better analyzing, we'll have the same NA. We'll have a fairly weak region. We haven't shown up at MSI. We haven't shown up at Worlds. That's 2 international tournaments in a row that NA has not shown up to. And I really hope that we get stuff together and can actually change how we are. Thanks for tuning in, and this is Incurvesco signing out.